Hello, hello, hello once again, and you are welcome again to Premarital Class with Counselor B. My name is Blessing Onwama. I am also known as Counselor B. One of the very, very special things to my heart is seeing marriage thrive, is seeing couples do well maritally, and that's very, very important for me. So it's so good to have you here today, and let's get right into it. We've had class one, where we talked about marriage. We've had class two, where we talked about stakeholders. We've had class three, where we talked about finances. So today we are having class four, and in class four, we are going to discuss finance, money. That's what we are discussing today. And some people say, we already love each other. We cannot fight. You are joking. We cannot argue. We already love each other. I love him so much. When we get married, we never fight. We never have an issue. We never have a disagreement. You are deceiving yourself. So let's get right into it. Why? Because finances is one of the major cause of divorce. Can you believe it? Worldwide, not just in Nigeria, worldwide. Money, money, and the management of it is one of the leading causes of divorce. Interesting, isn't it? Yes. That's why it's important that we talk about it so that your marriage can be beautiful in spite of the amount of money you have. Whether you're going to be stupendously wealthy or you may have seasons of, and everybody goes through those seasons anyway. When you go through seasons of not enough, or you go through seasons of just enough, or you go through seasons of abundance when there's so much. Whatever it is, whatever season you go through is so important. You know how to manage your money in those seasons so that at the end of the day everybody is happy. It's so important because money can cause big troubles in marriage. So let's get right into today's course or today's topic, and that's finance. When it comes to finance, let's even start from the conversation. Yes, these two people, you're about to get married, young man, young woman, you want to get married. You must ask yourself, do you want your wife to work? And that's a really a rhetorical question because I know some people even feel that that question is irrelevant today. But the truth is that I know in the minds of some men, they still do not want their wives to work. They'll rather have their wives be at home tending the children. While this is a noble thing to do, because taking care of your children is something that you cannot replace with any other thing, while it is noble to do, it's also essential that we note that a woman can also gain self-respect from working for herself, from earning money by herself. So my conversation or my discussion to such men today would be, would you want your wife feel to feel less of a woman when she's with her colleagues, when she's with her friends, when she's with other people, other females, and they are talking about their different exploits at work, in business, and your wife has none? Would you want your wife to be blank when other women are talking about their exploits? If your answer is no, then you need to revise that thought of, I don't want my wife to work. So let's start from that point. Every woman should have an earning power. Every woman. Yes, some people have argued over the years to say, I don't want my wife to work, I'll provide everything. Some have even gone ahead to say, I would even pay her a salary. And I said, that's great. That's fantastic. I just want her to be at home. I'll even pay her a salary. That's actually great. So it means she's earning because the more important thing is that she's earning. But even for someone that is at that level where your husband is paying you or plans to pay you a salary, it's also important you also develop yourself. If he's saying don't work and I'll pay you a salary, that's fine. But make sure while you're at home tending the children, be learning valuable skills so that anytime there's an opportunity, because this life is funny, things can happen sometimes that you didn't expect. It may not even be a death. It may not be that the man died. It may just be that the man's attention just turns away from you. It could just be that economic situations, his business falls down, or it could just be anything that may change that rhythm. It's so important, even though you're at home and your husband is paying you a salary, saying that you should stay at home, just make sure you are learning. Stay at home, oh, thank him for the salary. Every month when you receive a salary, thank him very well. But make sure you are learning skills. There are too many skills out there. Discover what you want. Whether it's physical skills like bead making, like sewing, like whatever it is, make sure you are learning skills. Or perhaps it's online skills, digital marketing skills, data analysis, content writing. You just make sure you are learning skills. If your husband is paying you, make sure you're learning skills. If the other divide is if your husband is saying, hey, stay at home, make sure you find a business to do online. You can even be a drop shipper. There are many opportunities. You can be a drop shipper, you can be a content writer, you can be learning even physical skills. As the children, let's say you in the first 1 or 2 years, you have a child comes into the picture. Great. After dropping the child at the daycare, go and learn a skill. Go and learn how to do makeup. Go and learn how to make hair. Go and learn. So as the child is closing from school, you two are closing from your own school. You come out from your own school, pick your child, and you go back home. Just bottom line, make sure you are earning. And for the men too, I know some men when they have rich wives or they're about to marry a rich woman, they would want to soft pedal on their vision or soft pedal on their aspirations. No, that's even when you must aspire more. Once you see your wife is she's really driven, that's when you too must aspire more. That's when you must aspire more because a woman will always look out for someone they can look up to. Everybody wants to look up to someone. What makes someone a leader is because they are going ahead. They are ahead. So make sure you are also going ahead, in career, in whatever business, whatever it is you are involved in. So this is very important. That's the foundation of this finance talk we are talking about. So that's the foundation. That's why for couples where the man you're about to get married and telling your wife, I don't want you to work. Especially if she's a career woman, you are not telling her to sit at home. That's a very, very important conversation. And ladies, do not take it lightly. If you're about to get married and this young man is saying, and you are a working class lady, you've always worked from the moment you finish school. Some even from school, you've been selling stuff, you finish school, you've been selling stuff, and now your husband is saying, as we get married, I want you to sit at home, I don't want you to do anything. It's a conversation you need to have and say, you know what, I'm used to doing things, and this is who I am. I really cannot stop. If you are saying I should stay at home, I must be earning from home, I must be doing a business from home. This is a conversation we need to have as would be couples, as intending couples. Oh, I want to marry you. Because small things like this can become a big issue in marriage. It can become a big issue because some men in their minds, I don't want my wife to work. If you don't want her to work, put other things in place. She must be earning, she must be learning. She must be earning, she must be learning. Now, let's go people that don't have a problem with their wives working. If you don't have a problem with your wife working, I think that's a great thing, right? You don't have a problem with her doing business, you don't have a problem with her earning financially, that's a great thing. The only thing is that when the children come in the season where you really where it's busy for her as a woman and also busy for you obviously. But at that season of childbearing, the children need her more, and so she may have to soft pedal on work in terms of closing times, in terms of not being available for weekend jobs, in terms of prioritizing her family. Maybe instead of get-togethers, going for office get-together, she may have to go home and think. Those are conversations you guys must have, especially as intending couples. You're about to get married. Have those conversations to make all the difference in marriage. Don't just think because I love him or because I love her, all things will work out. It's a lie. conversations must be had about each and every area of marriage. So have those conversations. Now let's go to another popular topic. Should we have joint accounts? Still on finances. Should we have joint accounts? And I say it's not necessary if you don't want it. Joint account is great where both couples will pull in their funds. So every month when you earn, your funds go into that account. It's a great thing to have. But not every couple can manage a joint account. It could cause trouble for some couples. For some other couples, it will be fun. Excuse me. It could be fun. They will just have a great time having a joint account. But for some other couples, that's a recipe for disaster. So if joint account works for you, you must know what it entails. That both of you need to be signatories to the account. You also need to know when the other person is taking from the account and have to agree. All those dynamics, it may work for some couples, it may not work for some couples. So you must find out what works for you both. That's more important than what anybody tells you. What works for you both that is acceptable and workable for two of you. Still on the joint account matter, if you don't want to have a joint account where all both your salaries are paid there or it goes right into it, you can also have a situation where you both agree on certain percentage and say, you know what, from whatever you earn every month, maybe the husband, both of you can say, okay, we put 40% into that account, or we put 30% into that account, or we put 50%. It depends on you. You make your decisions. We put a certain percentage into that account and say that account is for our projects. Because as a couple, you must know that you are planning for the future. So you can have the account and say, oh, I put 20% of my salary, or 40%, or 60% of my salary every month into our future account, our future planning account, whatever you can name it. You can name it our new house, our vacation, whatever. So you can name it and begin to plan. That's also another form of joint account. It's not the full one, but at least you put a percentage there every month, or depends on how you earn, maybe every week. And that could be an account where you used to do specific things, maybe to save for a house, to save for children's school fees, whatever it is, you can plan for that. So joint account will work for some people, it may not work for others. Now there are some people that even this partial joint account I just described now may not work for them. Meaning maybe madam is not earning anything, or she's not earning much yet, and so oga wants to handle it. Or even if madam is earning, oga says, no, family projects, I want to handle it solely. I want to be the one paying the rent. I want to be the one paying the school fees. I want to be the one doing this. It's fine. It's fine. And such a man will be really appreciated by his wife, or should be appreciated generously by his wife. It's fine. Even in such situations, while Oga is doing the big things, madam, you need to do the small things. So even though children are going to school, Oga is paying school fees, you can handle the things they will carry to school. You can buy the things but by all means, everybody must be contributing. That's what causes trouble in marriage when it comes to finances. Everybody contribute your quota. And sometimes oga's salary may probably not carry the school fees. It's madam's salary or her income that will carry it. Always remember you are a team. So in marriage, there'll be times where oga is the one down, madam is the one up financially. There'll be times where oga is the one up, madam is the one down financially. The bottom line is that we are both contributing to the finances of the home. So just be a contributor. Don't be a spectator. Be a contributor financially. You may not contribute the big one, but please contribute into any project in your family. It's your family, it's for your good. Now, I want to speak to those families where maybe, there are some people that will get married and the man can become irresponsible. So I want to speak to young men now. You are now in premarital class, or you're probably just getting married. I want to speak to you very specifically that a woman will always, always respect a man that is responsible. A woman would always, always respect a man that is responsible, particularly responsible financially. So no matter how much your wife is getting or your fiancé is getting, make sure your part is not lacking. I remember a particular couple in my church many years ago. They don't even live in Nigeria anymore, so they are no longer in my church. But many years ago, they shared their story that when they were getting married, the guy said when they were getting married, he was earning 20,000. His salary was 20,000. But his wife was in the bank and she was already top in the bank and she was earning 280,000. So his wife's salary was 14 times more than his salary. But guess what? He said every month he will still drop something. From that is 20,000. He won't say, oh, it's just she's my wife, she has more money, she has 14,000, she has 280,000, my own is just 20,000. He said, no, every month I make sure I drop something. I may not have the whole bulk, I may not have the 280,000, but this my 20,000. Once he can remove his tithe, maybe remove his transport fare, he will drop the rest. That's showing what? Responsibility. So even if you earn less, make sure you show responsibility. That is why that a young girl can follow a rich old man. Even though she doesn't like him, she'll follow him. Why? For his money. Because he's financially responsible. So it's not a, how do I put it? It's not rocket science. If you are financially responsible as a man, I'm not saying you should pay all the bills. I'm saying that you don't let any bill pass you by without you dropping something. So even if your wife can, let's say, because we've had all these stories many times, where they'll say a story and say the wife is earning in millions, the husband is earning 100,000 or 200,000, while the wife is earning, let's say, 3 million a month. It's fine. As long as you know the dynamics of your marriage and you're willing to make it work, it can work. Because she's earning 3 million does not mean she will pay the house rent. Don't get it twisted. Don't just assume and say you are earning 3 million and you will pay the house rent. Let's say the house rent is 1.5 million every year. And you say, oh, you are earning 3 million. You can just take half of your salary and settle it. No, sir. You are the man. You are the man. I'm saying that not to make you feel like all the responsibility should rest on you. I'm saying that to protect your marriage. If you want that woman to respect you financially, it's so important that you don't run away from your bills. You may not be able to pay everything because of your financial situation now, but make sure your money is in the rent. Make sure your money is in the food. Make sure your money is in making her hair. Make sure your own money is there in paying the children's school fees. Make sure your money is there, even though she's earning more. Don't say because she's earning more, let her take care of the school fees, let her take care of the house rent, let her take care of this. So she's taking care of everything. And you just hang around and you're using your money to play around. You are getting to a point of financial disrespect. Any man that does that has opened up his life to financial disrespect from his wife. Because guess what? She will find someone, maybe in the office space or business space, she will meet someone that is financially responsible. And naturally, I had to be gravitating towards that person, particularly if that person he has empathy and he's kind. She will start gravitating towards that man, even though she's not married to him. So to protect your marriage, you may have that 100,000, even though your wife is earning 3 million. You say, babe, I know you're earning more, but let me contribute something to this school fees. Let me contribute to this house rent. Let me contribute to this upkeep. Very important. You go out, buy bread. You go out, buy something for the house. Let them see your contribution. Very important. And for that story of that man who was earning 13 times less than his wife, it wasn't long after they married, God changed his story. He began to earn way more than her. It wasn't long. Remember, marriage brings favor into a man's life. Bible says that the he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. That favor worked for that man. That man began to earn many times above his wife a few years after marriage. Financial responsibility is important. And then when there are tough times, don't forget to communicate with respect. So there will be tough times, and I'm not going to lie. There'll be tough times for different reasons. It could be a mistake, it could just be life happening. There could be tough times where there's not enough money to go around. Do not forget to respect each other. So make plans, make a budget with what you have, and then do what you can in those times. Have a budget, have plans, have a budget and say this is our budget for this. So let's say you make 100,000 a month, or maybe between both of you, what comes in every month is 500,000 or 1 million. Have a plan and say, you know what, we plan this is for housekeep. Have a budget. Don't be that family where you just buy anything that comes our way. No, let there be a budget every month and say this is what we are looking forward for next month. Let's plan to do this in the house. Let's plan to do this. Let's plan. Write it down. Agree together. Have an agreement and say this is what we're going to do for next month. And it will help a lot. That way you're on the same page, you're carrying each other along, you know when the money is coming, you know where the money is going to when it comes. And also, as we talk about finances, you must save. You must save, save, save. No matter what you earn, save. No matter what you earn, say if it's 10%, even if you earn 50,000 right now, save 5% every month. Sorry, 10% every month. So that means you're saving 5K out of 50K. Save every month, no matter how hard it is. Make sure you save. It was a mistake my husband and I made. Not that we made it, we knew, but it was really, really tough. So there were months we saved, there were months we couldn't save, there were months we saved, there were months. So things like that would happen. But always have a saving culture, a saving mentality. It helps on the long run. Many times, thank God, God really came through for us. The times when we didn't have so much, God really came through for us. So we had seasons of abundance, we had seasons of lack, we had seasons of extreme lack, we had seasons of sacrifice. All those would happen. But remember to treat each other with respect in those tough times. Don't begin to talk down each other. No, still treat each other with respect. Like, hey, I know it's a season, it will pass. Even though it's a tough season, to pass. I still respect you. It can make all the difference. It can make them appreciate you the more. Okay? Okay, what else have we not talked about? Financial deal breakers. What's a deal breaker to you financially? Some people they don't like to borrow. So if excuse me. So if one of you borrows, let's say the person that doesn't like to borrow, let's say the man doesn't like to borrow and the wife goes out to borrow money from someone, it can be a deal breaker. It can be, we've seen it. It can be a deal breaker, and the man can be like, I've told you I don't like borrowing. Why would you borrow? Sometimes the wife would even hide it. The man will not know she borrowed. She will borrow and begin to pay small. And the man will be wondering, why is the money not adding up? But she's not saying that I borrowed, I'm trying to pay back. Those things can be a deal breaker in a marriage. So it's so important. Know your deal breakers and discuss it with your spouse and say, hey, I don't like borrowing. I really would not like you to borrow. Then there's another one. Someone was sharing a story recently of a couple that they didn't have so much, but excuse me, the wife went ahead to carry all that they had and bought hair, human hair, and that was a really big deal. It was a big deal and nearly broke the marriage because the man is like, we don't have enough. So all we have, you put it together and go and buy hair. So you must know your deal breakers and then know your priorities. So that's why I say you must have a budget together. Have a budget and say we are looking at having a house in the next 5 years or in the next 10 years. What do? We start saving from now, or we take a mortgage and we start paying small, small from now. Whatever it is, be on the same page financially because finances, a lack of planning, poor communication in finances, it can break a marriage. It has broken many, 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 and they started out loving each other. They started out loving, but yet lack of financial planning, and then also lack of financial management. It broke the marriage, even though they loved each other. It broke the marriage. It brought finally brought resentment, hate, bitterness, and with time the marriage broke off. That will not be your portion in Jesus' name. But at the same time, it is so critical that for both of you plan to, make plans together, have budgets, have what you are looking out for. If your spouse does not like borrowing, do not borrow. If you need to borrow, if it's a need, carry them along and say, see, I know you don't like borrowing, but I really need to because of this. Or we really need to, maybe we want to do a project, want to do a business that will bring in money. Say, hey, we really need to borrow to do this project so that we can do it well. So they can know the intensity and how important that thing is to you. Now, these points I'm mentioning, they are very important. Okay. Now let's talk about finances in the area of giving. In the area of giving. Now, it will be very wise to have a budget for giving. Giving to God in terms of your offering. Of course, we know our tithe is 10% if you're a Christian. But apart from that, there'll be family and friends that will say, oh, they are in need. Oh, this family came to us and said they are in need. You can't just carry all your money and give to them and you didn't tell your wife. You can't just carry all the money and give to them and you didn't tell your husband. That's a point of trouble. So, have a budget, for example, and say every month we have, for example, we have 100,000 to give away. So any need that comes from anybody is in that 100,000. So let's say a friend comes and say, "Hey, bros, I'm struggling. I'm really stranded. I don't have this. I don't have that." Just check your budget for welfare that month. Is the budget exhausted? If it's not exhausted, give them from that budget. If it's exhausted, say, please, oh, I really don't have, but can you wait till next month? Maybe next month I can spare you 50K. I can spare you 100K. Whatever it is, you are both agree. And please, when it comes to money, please agree with your spouse before you give out to anybody. Agree with your, except if that's a disposable money. It's not something, it's not a deal breaker. It's just maybe 120K somewhere, 150K, depending on your level. Or maybe it's just to just help that person. You can easily afford this, and from your business, you'll make it the next day. It won't scratch you. And that one, you don't necessarily have to tell your spouse, except if he asks or there's a need to. But someone is asking you for 2 million, 3 million, 10 billion. Ah, when it comes to especially big sums, carry your spouse along. Don't just feel, this person needs it now. It's our family friend, so I gave him. No, it can cause trouble. What if your spouse has planned for that money? What if your spouse was planning to build a house with it? I say, oh, let's build our first house. I'll bring 10 million. You bring 10 million. Let's start buying our land. So important. So especially when it comes to big sums, don't keep them in the dark. From small sums, you carry them along. How much more? Big sums. Okay. So these are very, very important things. The bottom line when it comes to finances is that there must be agreement. There must be agreement. There must be agreement. You can't just carry money and start using. And if your husband or wife is not comfortable with the use of your money, the way you are using it, please listen to them. Don't say, "Excuse me, it's my money." It's not your money. It's from my money. Is it your own? No. Listen to them at least and say, okay, this thing this person is saying, wait, okay, let me listen to them. Let me agree with them. At least for now, watch. I say, okay, you said I shouldn't give this person money again. Okay, because you have said I'll respect you, I won't give them again. But watch, what's the effect of not giving them? Then show your spouse. See, since I stopped giving this person now is suffering, is living on the streets, is doing this. And sometimes it's not money other people need. Sometimes if you've given them money once or twice, I'm talking of people outside your home, and their lives are not changing, means it's not money they need. Perhaps they need a skill. Perhaps they need to register, they need a job. Perhaps they need to register for acquisition. But perhaps they will need to go to school and get some basic education. But please know what it is they want and give them, and stop fighting your spouse. So important. Stop fighting your spouse because you are supposed to be together. One of the things you must know that in marriage you should fight on the same side. You know that you're on the same side. So don't let my mother-in-law just made my husband spend 2 million for nothing. Anything you want to do, carry your wife along, carry your husband along and say, hey, my mother needs this. What do you think? Should we not, I want to, excuse me, even if you want to say, should we, can we do this for her? What do you think? Carry them along. When it comes to money, hmm, it can be a battleground. It can be about love can disappear when it comes to money. Love can disappear, and you don't want that to happen to you. So wisdom demands for every one of us as we get into marriage, be very wise with finances. Carry your spouse along. Don't just feel it shouldn't be a big deal to him. It's just 1 million. I just gave my brother 1 million. Say ask them first though. Because tomorrow, because you gave 1 million, you didn't tell them, they will give somebody 10 million, they won't tell you. They'll say, you did it before, so what's your problem? You did it, so I did it too. And they won't care the amount. So please carry them along, carry your spouse, and don't just assume. When it comes to finances, don't assume. Carry your spouse along so that you can both enjoy marital fulfillment and satisfaction in that area. Money causes problems. Money also brings a lot of joy, a lot of fun, a lot of excitement, and it's important we get it right as couples. Okay, so that will be all for today. Thank you for joining me today on our fourth class. God bless and keep you. See you in the very next one.